Here's just a quick history of the pre-dynastic activity in ancient Egypt, just looking at it one artifact at a time. Early stuff of human activity is just what you'd expect. Flint heads, arrows, cutting tools, just the usual stuff. But then as things progress through the eras, it starts to get a little bit more developed. Some groups start to create images of people, faces, animals, that sort of thing. And so things start to get a bit more interesting. Incredible items like this start to appear, as well as some amazingly carved stone vessels. And yet at the same time, you're seeing some pretty weird primitive looking items as well. So you've got these amazingly sophisticated items next to simple pottery and some fairly primitive items. And yet there are items that are so delicate and perfectly made that it completely blows the modern mind. And they're so old. The stone vessels in particular are just, some of them are mind-blowing. And some of the symbology that you see on these artefacts as well, most intriguing. There is simply too much of this amazing stuff from this pre-dynastic era. So we're talking about the time before the Pharaohs, before 3000 BC, much earlier than that, in fact. These are really, really old. There are some artefacts that jump out in particular, but they're not one-offs. It's actually quite amazing how many of these incredibly beautifully crafted items there are. And when you go to the Egyptian museums, especially the Cairo Museum, you just see them endlessly. There's one after another, after another, after another, and it is mind-blowing. And you look at the dates on them, and you compare them to other things with similar dates on them, basic primitive-looking pottery, and you think, how on earth are these sitting next to each other? But here comes the smoking gun. Here is an Akada palette, so that's pre-3000 BC, with Christian messages scratched into it. I'll leave that thought with you. I wonder how many other artifacts are reused.